आज जो हमारा टॉपिक है वो है पार्टनरशिप पार्ट 7 और इसमें हम पढ़ेंगे रिटायरमेंट, डेथ और डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनर। तो रिटायरमेंट ऑफ ए पार्टनर, the exit or withdrawal of a partner is known as retirement. So this means the exit or withdrawal of a partner is known as retirement. A partner may retire from firm because of various reasons such as old age, bad health or any other reason. Retiring a partner or outgoing partner can retire with consent of all other partners. So this means for the retirement of a partner he needs consent of all other partners और इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द एक्सप्रेसिव एग्रीमेंट। ठीक है ना। तो आपने याद होगा रिटायरिंग पार्टनर और आउटगोइंग पार्टनर कैन रिटायर विद कंसेंट ऑफ ऑल अदर पार्टनर्स इन अकॉर्डेंस विद एक्सप्रेसिव एग्रीमेंट ऑफ और इफ द पार्टनरशिप इट इज एट विल। ठीक है ना, एट विल। तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए रिटायरिंग अ पार्टनर और आउटगोइंग पार्टनर, रिटायरिंग पार्टनर और आउटगोइंग पार्टनर कैन रिटायर विद कंसेंट ऑफ ऑल पार्टनर्स or in accordance with the expressed agreement or if the partner is at will। ठीक है ना। तो अगर एक पार्टनर को रिटायरमेंट होना चाहे तो उसके लिए कंसेंट होना चाहिए अदर पार्टनर्स का, या एग्रीमेंट में लिखा होगा इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द एग्रीमेंट। ठीक है ना। और इफ द पार्टनर इज एट विल। अकाउंटिंग प्रोसीजर्स ऑन रिटायरमेंट, अकाउंटिंग प्रोसीजर्स ऑन रिटायरमेंट। तो जब किसी भी पार्टनर को रिटायर होना चाहिए तो अकाउंटिंग प्रोसीजर्स फॉलो करने पड़ते हैं। पहला क्या है, रिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज बिफोर रिटायरमेंट या ऑन द रिटायरमेंट ऑफ ए पार्टनर रिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज इज डन। सो दिस मीन्स ऑन द रिटायरमेंट ऑफ ए पार्टनर रिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज इज डन। दूसरा क्या है, ट्रांसफर ऑफ रिजर्व्स टू रिटायरिंग पार्टनर। ट्रांसफर ऑफ यानी पहले जब किसी भी पार्टनर को रिटायर होना चाहिए पहले क्या हमें करना है, रिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज इन रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट। दूसरा क्या है, ट्रांसफर ऑफ रिजर्व्स टू रिटायरिंग पार्टनर। ट्रांसफर ऑफ रिजर्व्स टू रिटायरिंग पार्टनर, जो रिजर्व्स होंगे तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए, उन्हें रिटायरिंग पार्टनर को ट्रांसफर करने हैं। दिस मीन्स ट्रांसफर ऑफ रिजर्व्स टू रिटायरिंग पार्टनर। तीसरा है एडजस्टमेंट ऑफ गुडविल, एडजस्टमेंट ऑफ गुडविल। और लास्ट वन है कैलकुलेशन ऑफ न्यू रेशियो, कैलकुलेशन ऑफ न्यू रेशियो। तो पहले हम बात करेंगे, तो आपने याद रखूंगा अकाउंटिंग प्रोसीजर्स ऑन रिटायरमेंट। सो दिस मीन्स मैनी अकाउंटिंग 4 अकाउंटिंग प्रोसीजर्स आर फॉलोड ऑन रिटायरमेंट ऑफ ए पार्टनर। फर्स्ट वन इज रिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज इन रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट। दूसरा है ट्रांसफर ऑफ रिजर्व्स टू रिटायरिंग पार्टनर। तीसरा है एडजस्टमेंट ऑफ गुडविल। फोर्थ वन इज कैलकुलेशन ऑफ न्यू रेशियो। अब बात करते हैं हम ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ गुडविल इन केस ऑफ रिटायरमेंट। ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ गुडविल इन केस ऑफ रिटायरमेंट यानी गुडविल का क्या होगा इन केस ऑफ रिटायरमेंट ऑफ ए पार्टनर। रिटायरिंग पार्टनर हैज़ राइट टू गेट हिज शेयर ऑफ गुडविल। सो दिस मीन्स रिटायरिंग पार्टनर हैज़ राइट टू गेट हिज शेयर ऑफ गुडविल। द प्रोसीजर टू कैलकुलेट गुडविल विल बी सेम इन केस ऑफ एडमिशन। सो दिस मीन्स द प्रोसीजर टू कैलकुलेट गुडविल विल बी सेम एज इन केस ऑफ एडमिशन। So this means the procedure to calculate goodwill will be same, this means the procedure to calculate goodwill at the time of retirement will be same as in case of admission. In case of goodwill is already appearing, in case if goodwill is already appearing in the balance sheet at the time of retirement. In case of goodwill, in case if goodwill is already appearing in the balance sheet at the time of retirement. So this means इसमें क्या होगा, all partners capital account debited to goodwill account. So this means all partners capital account debited to goodwill account in old ratio, मगर in old ratio. दूसरा है crediting the share of retiring partner in goodwill to his capital account. So this means जब भी कोई treatment of goodwill में क्या हम करते हैं, पहला क्या है, in case of goodwill is already appearing in the balance sheet at the time of retirement। ठीक है ना। अगर गुडविल ऑलरेडी अपेयर होगा बैलेंस शीट में तो उसमें क्या होगा, पार्टनर्स रिटायरमेंट के टाइम ऑल पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट डेबिटेड टू गुडविल अकाउंट इन ओल्ड रेशियो। दूसरा है क्रेडिटिंग द शेयर ऑफ रिटायरिंग पार्टनर इन गुडविल टू हिज कैपिटल अकाउंट। दिस मीन्स क्रेडिटिंग द शेयर ऑफ रिटायरिंग पार्टनर, क्रेडिटिंग द शेयर ऑफ रिटायरिंग पार्टनर इन गुडविल टू हिज कैपिटल अकाउंट इन गेनिंग रेशियो। तो आपने इन गेनिंग रेशियो So in case of goodwill is already appearing in the balance sheet, all at the time of retirement, all partners capital account debited to goodwill account in old ratio. While as crediting the share of retiring partner in goodwill to his capital account in old ratio. So this means तो आपने याद रखा in case the goodwill is already appearing in the balance sheet at the time of retirement, all partners capital account is debited to goodwill account in old ratio. While as the crediting share of retiring partner, crediting the share of retiring partner in goodwill to his capital in gaining ratio. So इसमें क्या बन सकता है, gaining or continuing partner account debited to retiring partner capital account credited. उसके बाद है distribution of reserves, profit and loss. Distribution of reserves, profit and losses. For reserves and profits, at the time of retirement, profit and loss account debited, general reserve account debited, contingency reserve debited, workman compensative fund account debited to retiring partners capital account. तो आपने सुना distribution of reserve, profit and loss. For reserves and profits, profit and loss account debited, general reserves account debited, contingency reserve account debited, workman compensation fund account debited to retiring capital account. In old ratio of retiring partner. For losses, retiring partnership capital account debited to losses. For losses, retiring partnership capital account debited to losses, personal loss account credited. Note, in case new profit sharing ratio is not given. तो आपने कहा in case if new profit sharing ratio is not given when a partner retires, then old ratio will be gaining as well as new ratio. तो आपने याद रखना, in case if new profit sharing ratio is not given, in case बहुत important है, in case if new profit sharing ratio is not given when a partner retires, ठीक है ना, then old ratio will be the gaining as well as new ratio. तो आपने याद रखना, in case new profit sharing ratio, in case if new profit sharing ratio is not given when a partner retires, then the old ratio will be the gaining as well as the new ratio. Death of a partner. On the death of a partner, the legal heirs or executors of the deceased partners are entitled to get the claim as per provisions of the deed. तो आपने देखा, on the death of a partner, the legal heirs or executors of the deceased partner are entitled to get the claim as per the provisions of the deeds. The accounting treatment of amount due to legal heirs of deceased partners is almost similar as in case of retirement of a partner. तो आपने देखा, the accounting treatment of amount due to legal heirs of deceased partner is almost similar as in case of retirement of a partner. Like a retiring partner, legal representative of deceased partner is also entitled to get share in goodwill, reserves, revaluation of profits, etc. तो आपने कहा, like a retiring partner, the legal representative of deceased partner is also entitled to get share in goodwill, reserves, revaluation of profits. In brief, deceased partner is entitled to get, तो आपने कहा, in brief, deceased partner is entitled to get capital, revaluation, profit, loss, and other accumulated profits, share of profits up to death, interest on capital up to date of death, share of goodwill. ठीक है ना? So in brief, the deceased partner is entitled to get capital, revaluation of profit, loss, and other accumulated profits, share of profits up to death, interest on capital up to date of death, share of goodwill. Journal entry for profit share. Continuing partners capital account or profit loss suspense account debited to deceased partner account. Journal entry for deceased partners in share of profits. तो journal entry for deceased partners in share of profits. Profit and loss suspense account debited to deceased partner, capital account credited. क्वेश्चन बन सकता है द अकाउंट टू विच डिजीज्ड पार्टनर्स कैपिटल बैलेंस इज ट्रांसफर्ड इज नोन एज, इसका सही जवाब है डिजीज्ड पार्टनर्स एग्जीक्यूटर्स लोन अकाउंट। बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है। द अकाउंट टू विच डिजीज्ड पार्टनर्स कैपिटल बैलेंस, द अकाउंट टू विच डिजीज्ड पार्टनर्स कैपिटल बैलेंस इज ट्रांसफर्ड इज नोन एज, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है। द अकाउंट टू विच डिजीज्ड, या तो आपने याद रखना, द अकाउंट इन टू विच diseased partners capital balance is transferred is known as, इसका diseased partners executors loan account। बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन। the account to which diseased partners capital balance is transferred, the account to which diseased partners capital balance, तो आपने रखा तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए the account to which capital balance of deceased partner is transferred, तो आपने याद रखूंगा the account to which capital balance of deceased partner, the account in which capital balance of deceased partner is transferred is known as deceased partners executors loan account। the amount due is transferred to this account because actually the payment is required to be made to the heirs of the deceased partner। the payment may be made in full, that is in one installment or in more than one installment। Treatment of goodwill in case of death. Remaining partners capital account debited to deceased partners capital account. Treatment of interest on capital, deceased partners capital account prepared, that is treatment of interest on capital account debited to deceased partner capital account। The treatment of interest on capital is to be calculated, तो आपने the treatment of interest on capital is to be calculated from the opening day, तो आपने याद रखना in case of death the treatment of interest on capital is to be calculated from the opening day of year to the date of death। for example if, तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ गुडविल रिमेनिंग पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट डेबिटेड टू डिजीज्ड पार्टनर अकाउंट, ठीक है ना। तो कैलकुलेशन ऑफ डिजीज्ड पार्टनर शेयर इन प्रॉफिट्स, ठीक है ना। एक और टॉपिक है कैलकुलेशन ऑफ डिजीज्ड पार्टनर्स शेयर इन प्रॉफिट्स, कैलकुलेशन ऑफ डिजीज्ड पार्टनर्स शेयर इन प्रॉफिट्स। इट इज द राइट ऑफ लीगल representative of deceased partner to claim the share of profits of the firm from the opening date of balance sheet to the date of death। So this means it is the right of a legal representative of deceased partner to claim share of profits of the firm from the opening date of balance sheet to date of death। Question arises how to fix out profit up to date of death। For this purpose either profit and loss account should be prepared or calculation may be done as per provisions of written agreement। तो आपने याद रखूंगा क्वेश्चन arises how to find the profit up to date of death, तो आपने क्वेश्चन arises how to find out the profit up to date of death। इसके लिए आपने क्या करना है in order to, तो आपने in order to find out the profit up to date of death, तो आपने in order to find out the profit up to date of death either the profit and loss account should be prepared or calculation may be done as per provisions of written agreement, ठीक है ना। For this deed may contain following approaches for calculating deceased partners share of, तो आपने देखा for this deed may contain, for this, तो आपने याद रखना इसमें लिए question arises how to find the profit up to date of death। आपने रखा फॉर द तो आपने रखा हाउ टू फाइंड आउट प्रॉफिट अप टू डेट ऑफ डेथ, तो आपने रखा इन ऑर्डर टू फाइंड आउट द प्रॉफिट अप टू डेट ऑफ डेथ Either the profit loss account should be prepared or calculation may be done as per the provisions of written agreement. And in order to find out the profit up to date of death, for this the deed may contain following two approaches for calculating deceased partner. तो आपने देखा the deed may contain following two approaches for calculating deceased partner share of profits on sales in tremor basis, on time basis. दूसरा पहला बन सकता है on sales basis and on time basis, ठीक है ना. So this means in order to calculate the profit up to date of death, it may be on sales or on the time basis, ठीक है ना. On sales or tremor basis इसको हम कहते हैं, tremor basis. On time basis, last year profit, average profit and average profits of last few years. तो आपने देखा on time basis क्या है, last year's profit and average profits of last few years. तो आपने याद रखना, in order to find out the profit up to the date of death on sales or turnover basis. तो आपने on sales or turnover basis. तो आपने on sales or turnover basis. On sales or turnover basis. पहले बात करते हैं हम on sales and turnover or turnover basis. In sales or turnover basis, the share may be ascertained using last year's sales and last year's profits, and then calculating the profit ratio of last year, which is applied in current year sale. स्टेप में इसका पहला कैलकुलेट प्रॉफिट लॉस ऑफ लास्ट ईयर. स्टेप सेकंड कैलकुलेट एस्टिमेटेड प्रॉफिट ऑफ फर्म ऑफ करंट ईयर अप टू डेट ऑफ डेथ. तीसरा है कैलकुलेट डिसीज्ड पार्टनर शेयर. On time basis, on the basis of time, two approaches are available: on the basis of last year's profit or on the basis of average profit of last few years. So on the basis of time, the profit of deceased can be calculated on the basis of last year's profit or on the basis of average profits of last few years. Last year's profit में क्या होगा? Last year's profit into time period divided by 12 into deceased partner sharing ratio. Average profit for last few years, average profit into time period divided by 12 into deceased partner sharing ratio. Dissolution of partnership firm. तो आपने देखा dissolution of partnership firm. When all and every one of the member of a firm stops to carrying on the business of a firm, it is termed as dissolution of partnership firm. तो आपने देखा when all and every one of the members of the firm. तो आपने when all and every one member of a firm stops to carry on the business of a firm, it is termed as dissolution of partnership firm. So this means when all the members and every one member of the firm stops to carry on the business of a firm, it is termed as dissolution of partnership firm. In other words, dissolution of partnership firm is when the entire firm ceases to exist. तो आपने याद रखना, in other words, dissolution of partnership firm is when the entire firm ceases to exist and there is complete breakdown of economic relationship among the partners. It's called the dissolution of partnership firm. However, dissolution of partnership does not involve complete breakdown of firm. तो आपने however, dissolution of partnership does not involve complete breakdown of firm. तो आपने याद रखना important fact. However, the dissolution of partnership does not involve complete breakdown of firm and relationship among partners. It is only a change in profit sharing ratio. So this means the dissolution of partnership does not involve complete breakdown of a firm and relationship among partners, but it is only a change in profit sharing ratio. Admission of partner, retirement and death of partner, these events only led to the reconstitution of existing firm. What is difference between dissolution of partnership and dissolution of partnership firm? तो आपने देखा what is relationship between dissolution of partnership? What is difference between dissolution of partnership? तो question है difference between dissolution of partnership and dissolution of partnership firm. Dissolution of partnership. In dissolution of partnership, there is change in economic relationship among partners. तो आपने in dissolution of partnership there is change in economic relationship among partners, while as in dissolution of partnership firm there is complete breakdown of relationship among partners. So तो आपने याद रखूंगा the change in economic relationship among partners. The change in economic relationship among partners is called dissolution of partnership. The complete breakdown of relationship among partners is called dissolution of partnership firm. The dissolution of partnership does not affect the continuation of business. It continues as before. So this means the dissolution of partnership does not affect the continuation of business. तो आपने देखा the dissolution of partnership does not affect the continuation of business. It continues as before. While as the dissolution of partnership, ठीक है ना, while as तो आपने देखा in case of dissolution of partnership, तो आपने in case of dissolution of partnership, in case of dissolution of partnership, तो आपने the dissolution of partnership, the dissolution of partnership does not affect the continuation of business, and as it continues as before. While as the dissolution of partnership, while as in dissolution of partnership firm business discontinues with breakdown of economic relationship with partners. तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए while as in dissolution of partnership business discontinues. So this means in dissolution of, तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए in dissolution of partnership the business continues, while as in case of dissolution of partnership firm business discontinues, ठीक है ना, because of breakdown of economic relationship with partners. In dissolution of partnership assets and liabilities are revealed, ठीक है ना, तो आपने याद रखना in dissolution of partnership assets and liabilities are revealed, while as in dissolution of partnership firm assets and liabilities are realized. तो आपने याद रखना the assets and liabilities are revealed in dissolution of partnership and assets and liabilities are realized in dissolution of partnership firm. The dissolution of partnership, बहुत important question है. The dissolution of partnership is optional, while as dissolution of partnership can be mandatory sometimes. In dissolution of partnership books of accounts are not closed. तो आपने याद रखना in dissolution of partnership books of accounts are not closed, while as the dissolution of partnership it can lead to closure of books of accounts, ठीक है ना. So this means the dissolution of partnership in dissolution of partnership books of accounts are not closed, while as in dissolution of partnership firm books of accounts are closed, ठीक है ना. In dissolution of partnership revaluation account is prepared. तो आपने याद रखना in dissolution of the dissolution of partnership, in dissolution of partnership बहुत ही important question है. In dissolution of partnership revaluation account is prepared, while as in dissolution of partnership firm realization account is prepared. तो आपने रखना इसलिए revaluation account is prepared in dissolution partnership, while as realization account is prepared in dissolution of partnership firm. In dissolution of partnership there is no interference of court. So आपने in dissolution of partnership there is no interference of court, while as in dissolution of partnership firm court may interfere. Modes of dissolution of partnership firm. Modes of dissolution of partnership firm. Modes of dissolution of partnership firm. Dissolution of partnership firm without interference of court सेकंड मेथड बन सकता है या सेकंड मोड बन सकता है डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फर्म बाय कोर्ट ऑर्डर. पहला है विदाउट कोर्ट ऑर्डर, डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फर्म विदाउट कोर्ट ऑर्डर. दूसरा है डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फर्म बाय कोर्ट ऑर्डर. डिसोल्यूशन विदाउट कोर्ट ऑर्डर इसमें क्या बन सकता है? डिसोल्यूशन बाय एग्रीमेंट. विदाउट कोर्ट ऑर्डर में डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फर्म क्या होता है? कंपल्सरी डिसोल्यूशन. ठीक है ना. डिसोल्यूशन ऑन हैपनिंग ऑफ सर्टन कंटिंजेंसीज, डिसोल्यूशन बाय नोट्स ऑफ पार्टनरशिप एट विल. तो आपने डिसोल्यूशन विदाउट कोर्ट इंटरफेरेंस में क्या होगा? डिसोल्यूशन बाय एग्रीमेंट. ठीक है ना. जब कोर्ट इन्वॉल्व नहीं होगा, डिसोल्यूशन बाय एग्रीमेंट. compulsory dissolution on happening of certain contingencies, dissolution by notes of partnership at will. लेकिन जब कोर्ट ऑर्डर होगा dissolution of partnership firm by court order, when partners become unsound mind, ठीक है ना, when partners become unsound mind, that is so this means कोर्ट ऑर्डर में डिसोल्यूशन बाय कोर्ट ऑर्डर कब, तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप विदाउट कोर्ट ऑर्डर, इसमें क्या हो सकता है, ये कोर्ट द ऑर्डर के यानी कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आसन कि डिजॉल्व करनस मज डिजॉल्व गस एग्रीमेंट सहित कंपल्सरी डिजॉल्वमेंट या डिजोल्यूशन ऑन द बेस ऑफ कंटिंजेंसीज सर्टन कंटिंजेंसीज या डिजोल्यूशन गस बाय द नोट्स ऑफ पार्टनरशिप एट विल ये कोर्ट ऑर्डर कोर्ट ऑर्डर किस पर तह पे याद थवन डिजोल्यूशन कर तिस पर पार्टनरशिप फिर्म कोर्ट वर किस पर गस डिजोल्यूशन कोर्ट ऑर्डर वर कित पे गस डिजोल्यूशन फिर्म डिजोल्यूशन पार्टनरशिप फिर्म, ठीक है ना, यानी कोर्ट ऑर्डर वर कित पे गस डिजोल्यूशन ऑफ फिर्म, यह गस डिजोल्यूशन बाय एग्रीमेंट, यह गस यह कंपल्सरी डिजॉल्वमेंट इत या डिजोल्यूशन हे गसित ऑन द हैपनिंग ऑफ सर्टन कंटिंजेंसीज या डिजोल्यूशन गस बाय द पार्टनरशिप एट विल। कोर्ट ऑर्डर किस पर डिजोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फिर्म खतर, तो आपने याद रखना डिसोल्यूशन by the order of court when partner becomes unsound, when any partner is guilty of misconduct, ठीक है ना, तिस पर कोर्ट ऑर्डर देत when a partner transfers whole of its share to a third party, ठीक है ना, when a partner transfers whole of its shares to a third party, या when court finds that a business cannot be carried on except for a loss, ठीक है ना, carried on except for a loss, so this means this पर court dissolve करित when court finds that a business cannot be carried on except for a loss, ठीक है ना। Accounting procedure for the dissolution of partnership firm, when a firm is dissolved the account of firm ought to be closed, तो आपने देखा dissolution of partnership firm, accounting procedure for the dissolution of partnership firm, when a firm is dissolved the accounts of the firm ought to be closed, assets are to be realized and liabilities are to be repaired, ठीक है ना, तो आपने कहा accounting procedure क्या है for the dissolution of partnership firm, गोडनिक गो when a firm is dissolved the account of firm ought to be closed, दोयम गो assets are to be realized and liabilities are to be repaired, if any surplus remain it is to be returned to the partners, if any surplus remain it is to be returned to partners, for this purpose the following three accounts are prepared, तो आपने देखा in order to in case if the surplus remains, तो आपने देखा in case if surplus remains it is to be returned to the partners, and for this तो सवाल आपने याद रखना in case when the surplus is returned to partners the three accounts are prepared, that is realization account, partners capital account and cash book account। Realization of account is prepared at the time of dissolution, तो आपने realization account, तो आपने realization account is prepared at the time of dissolution of partnership firm, तो आपने the account which is prepared at the time of dissolution of a partnership firm is called realization account। Debits realization account में क्या होगा, debited with all assets at the book values, ठीक है ना, since assets have debit balance, तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए realization accounts में क्या गया, debited with all the assets at the book values, credited with all liabilities at book values, so this means in, तो आपने देखा the question बन सकता है the realization account is prepared at the time of, इसका सही जवाब है dissolution of partnership firm, तो आपने याद रखा assets in realization account assets are debited, तो आपने रखा in assets, तो आपने in realization account all assets are debited, तो आपने in realization account all assets are debited, तो आपने in realization account all assets are debited and all liabilities are credited, sorry in realization account all the assets are debited and all the liabilities are credited, तो आपने in realization account assets are debited. तो आपने in realization account all the assets are debited except cash and bank. तो आपने देखा in realization account all assets are debited except cash and bank. In realization account all liabilities are credited except partners loan account, capital account, reserves. Then debited with amount paid off for settlement of liabilities along with expenses of dissolution and credited with amount realized on disposal. Difference representing profit or loss on realization is transferred to capital account. तो आपने देखा when there is difference, so this means when there is, तो आपने देखा the difference in, तो आपने देखा in realization account the difference representing profit or loss on realization is transferred to इसके बाद capital account of all the partners in the profit sharing ratio. तो आपने देखा in realization account the difference representing profit or loss on realization is transferred to capital account for all the partners in their profit sharing ratio. Assets को कौन कौन सा होता है? To land and building, to plant and machinery, to furniture and fitting, to bills receivable, to sundry debitors, cash bank, ठीक है ना, to partners capital account, to profit transferred to partners capital account in their profit sharing ratio. Liabilities में क्या होगा? By sundry creditors, sundry creditors, ठीक है ना. Assets में होगा sundry debitors while liabilities में होगा sundry creditors. Assets में होगा bills receivable, liabilities में होगा bills payable. तो लास्ट पे होगा to partners capital account asset taken by the partner. लेकिन assets में क्या होगा? Liability assumed by the partner, while as liabilities में क्या होगा? By partners capital account asset taken by the partner. Assets में क्या होगा? To profit transferred to partners capital account in their profit sharing ratio. Liabilities में क्या होगा? By loss transferred to partners capital account. Accounting entries for realization account for transferring the assets or for closing the account of assets. Realization account debited to assets account, ठीक है ना. ये छोड़िए आप. Debit side realization account, debit side realization account. तो आपने debit side realization account and credit side credit. तो आपने देखा debit side of realization account and credit side of realization account. Debit side of realization account में क्या क्या आता है? Assets at book values, payment of liabilities, realization expenses, liability settled by the partner, profit arising due to difference. Credit side of realization account, तो आपने the debit side of realization account contains, बहुत the debit side of realization account contains assets at book values, payment of liabilities, realization expenses, liabilities settled by partner, profit arising due to difference. The credit side of realization account contains liabilities at book values, ठीक है ना. तो आपने देखा the debit side of realization account contains assets at book values, payment of liabilities, realization expenses, liabilities settled by the partner, profit arising due to difference. The credit side of realization account contains liabilities at book values, amount realized from the sale of assets, assets taken over by the partner, loss arising due to difference. Modes of settlement of accounts. Treatment of loss, out of profits, then out of capital, then and finally by partners in sharing ratio. Treatment of assets. Payment to third party liabilities, payment of partners loan, payment to each partner's capital. तो procedures to be followed in settlement of account. तो आपने procedures to be followed in settlement of account. Procedures to be followed, बहुत ही important question है. Procedures to be followed in settlement of accounts. When a firm is dissolved, following procedure is to be adopted to settle accounts. पहला है realization account, तो आपने कहा procedures to be followed in settlement of account. तो आप याद होगा procedures to be followed in settlement of account. When a firm is dissolved, following procedures is adopted to settle accounts. पहला है realization of assets. Some are sold for cash, some are taken over by partners. ठीक है ना? Realization of assets में क्या होता है? Some are sold for cash, some are taken over by the partners. Payment of realization expenses. Expenses incurred for disposal of assets are to be met out of firm's cash. Sometimes may be borne of partner. तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए procedures to be followed in settlement of accounts. पहला है realization of assets, दूसरा है payment of realization expenses, तीसरा है payment of liabilities to third parties, fourth है payment of partners loan, fifth है distribution of balance cash or assets among partners. क्वेश्चन है डिफरेंस बिटवीन रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट एंड रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. डिफरेंस बिटवीन रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट एंड रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. बेसिक डिफरेंस. सिचुएशन. पहले हम बात करते हैं सिचुएशन. द रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट इज प्रिपेयर्ड इन केस ऑफ रिकॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ ए फर्म. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. डिफरेंस बिटवीन रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट एंड रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. The revaluation account is prepared in case of reconstitution of a firm, while as the realization account is prepared in case of dissolution of a firm. तो आपने याद रखोगा the revaluation account. सवाल इस तरह पूछता है which type of account is prepared in case of reconstitution of a firm. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. which account is prepared in case of reconstitution of a firm. इसके बाद revaluation account. which account is prepared in case of dissolution of a firm. इसके बाद realization account. तो आपने याद रखूंगा revaluation account is associated with इसके बाद reconstitution of a firm. Realization account is associated with इसके बाद dissolution of a firm. So this means the revaluation account is prepared in case of reconstitution of a firm, while as the realization account is prepared in case of dissolution of a firm. In revaluation account, profits or losses on revaluation are transferred to old partners capital account. ठीक है ना? In case of revaluation account, profits or losses on revaluation is transferred to old partners capital account. While as in realization account, profit or loss on realization is transferred to capital account of all partners. तो आपने याद रखना इसके लिए रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट में क्या होगा. रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट में होगा प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस इज ट्रांसफर टू ओल्ड पार्टनर, वाइल एज इन रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस इज ट्रांसफर टू ऑल द पार्टनर्स. तो आपने याद रखना होगा इन रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट प्रॉफिट और लॉस इज ट्रांसफर टू ओल्ड पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट. ठीक है ना? तो आपने कहा इन रिवैल्यूएशन अकाउंट प्रॉफिट और लॉस इज ट्रांसफर टू old partners capital account, while as in realization account profit and loss is transferred to capital account of all partners. So this means revaluation account transfers profit or loss to old partner, while as realization account transfers profit and loss to all the partners. The amount is in revaluation account. The account is prepared many times during the life of a firm. So this means the revaluation account is repetitive. That is, it is repeated many times during the life of a firm, while as realization is only one time during the lifetime of a firm. So this means the revaluation account is prepared repeatedly many times, while as the realization account is prepared one time. So this means the revaluation account is repetitive, while as realization account is non-repetitive. Closing of accounts. In revaluation account, accounts of assets and liabilities shown in the account are not closed. So this means in revaluation account the accounts of assets and liabilities are not closed, while as in realization account account of assets and liabilities are transferred here and get closed. So this means in revaluation account the account of assets and liabilities is not closed, while as in realization account the account of assets and liabilities is closed. Partner's capital account. Each partner capital account will show opening balance as per last balance sheet. Partner's capital account. Partner's capital account. Partner's capital account. Each partner's capital account will show opening balance as per last balance sheet. तो आपने कहा each partner's capital account will show opening balance as per last balance sheet. The same will be credited with. The same will be debited with. Profit on the same will be credited with profit on realization and liability assumed, any liability assumed, undistributed profits. The same will be debited loss on realization, any asset taken over, any debit balance of current account. After the above adjustments, the capital account is closed by means of cash bank account. If the amount is recoverable from the partner, cash bank account debited to partner's capital account. In case amount is payable to partner, ये छोड़ो आप, कैश बैंक अकाउंट. अब बात करते हैं हम कैश बैंक अकाउंट के बारे में. ऑल कैश ट्रांजेक्शन टेक्स प्लेस. तो आपने देखा कैश बैंक अकाउंट क्या होता है. ऑल कैश ट्रांजेक्शंस taken place during the process of dissolution are to be recorded in cash bank account. बहुत important question. All cash transactions taken place during the process of dissolution of a partnership firm are to be recorded in cash bank account. The cash bank account will be closed after the final payment to the creditor having credit balance or after receiving cash from partners having debit balance. तो आपने the cash bank account will be closed after final payment to the creditors, ठीक है ना, having credit balance and after receiving cash from partners having debit balance. So this means cash bank account gets closed after receiving the payment from the creditor and after the cash bank account gets closed after the payment to the creditor and receiving the cash from debitor. Treatment of realization expenses. There are expenses which are to be paid by the firm during the process of realization of assets and settlement of liabilities. These expenses are charged to realization account in case paid by firm. Sometimes by expenses. Sometimes these expenses are paid by the firm. Sometimes by partner on behalf of firm or by partner only. Treatment of general reserves, accumulated profits and losses, general reserves account debited, workers compensation account debited, contingency fund account debited, profit and loss account debited, accumulated treatment of general reserves, accumulated profit and loss, accumulated profit and reserves, accumulated profits and reserves में क्या होगा, general reserves account debited, workers compensation fund debited, contingency fund debited, profit and loss account debited to partners capital account. Accumulated loss में क्या होगा, partners capital account debited to accumulated loss account. Treatment of goodwill. When the goodwill appears in the balance sheet, when the goodwill appears in the balance sheet, when the goodwill last